Are you thinking about getting a Yoto player to use in your homeschool? Today I want to share all the ways that we use our Yoto player specifically for our homeschool. If you're new here, I am Aileen. This is Homeschool with the Clarks. I am currently homeschooling a 12-year-old, 10-year-old, 8-year-old, and 4-year-old. So we have a regular sized Yoto player. I purchased it over the summer, so we've been using it about 6 months now. I wanted to share how we're using the Yoto player specifically for our homeschool, how I'm utilizing make your own cards, and also cards that we've purchased and enjoyed from the Yoto website. I also wanted to share kind of the pros and cons that I've experienced so far with having a Yoto player. If you're not familiar, it's got this slot up here and you stick a card in. You can turn it, here's the power button. So let me show you because I think it's on. It might be dead. Okay, there we go. It's on. So it's got a clock. It does have some other features, like kind of like a wake up clock kind of feature. If you leave it plugged in your child's room, it will turn red at like set bedtime hours and green during the day. Like you can set it from their app. They do have an app that you can use to control the Yoto from your phone. You can also play any Yoto card that you own from your phone. Like if you were listening to a story on your Yoto, but then you wanted to listen to it in the car and you had Bluetooth in your car, you could use your phone to pick up where you left off in the story. So that's helpful. So this is a Yoto player. Sometimes it will play different, it will put like different images on here, just little pixelated pictures like this, like as the chapter changes, things like that. But this is not like a screen. So that's nice, right? It's relatively durable. It does not come with this little cover. I purchased this on Amazon, but they do also sell them from Yoto as well. It's like silicone and stretchy. So this is the Yoto player. And then you need the Yoto cards. And we have this case. They do sell cases, I think, on the Yoto website. I got this on Amazon. It's not holding up super well, unfortunately. It's a binder style and they're like coming out from my 4-year-old pulling at it, but it holds a lot of Yoto cards. So I'm going to get those little white circle things. I just have it. So they sell lots and lots of options on the Yoto website. Pictures, picture books, not pictures, pictures, music options, picture books. They have like Crackling Fire, which I don't think we've ever used. They have this one, which is like, it says words and it will show a picture for it. And then it does them in English, Spanish, French, maybe. And then there's also longer, there goes it falling apart, longer audiobook options. So I purchased the C.S. Lewis Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe set. And they do also have like Disney options. We have Frozen, Matilda. There are lots and lots of Yoto card options. And there's even some other companies I've noticed advertising to me on Facebook that are starting to create their own like Yoto cards. So there's lots of choices. So you can purchase directly from Yoto, or you can use these make your own cards. I can't get it out. There we go. You can use these make your own cards, and then you can use audio that you already own and upload it onto the Yoto card. And it's pretty easy once you learn how. And then you can just use like masking tape and write down the name or like a label maker. A few of the first ones I made, I have a label maker. So I use my label maker. Like you can also link podcasts. So I linked Circle Round podcast because that's my daughter's favorite podcast, and it literally is like across the card because it was too long. So it doesn't have to be aesthetic. Some people make it very aesthetic, or you can do something like this, which I shared this in my Story of the World video if you saw it. So this is like sticker paper. Here's the actual Story of the World book. So it's not the perfect match just because of my printer, because I have like a printer that's an eco tank. So it's not about making beautiful prints. It's about being economical. So anyway, so you can add stickers on here if you want to. That's definitely not required. But so you can use make your own or purchase from the Yoto website. How we're using it in our homeschool is obviously Story of the World. One of my kids is learning multiplication, and I have the musical multiplication songs from The Good and the Beautiful. I put those on a Yoto card because she's supposed to listen to a set of those songs every school day. And so that's a really easy way for her to just pop it in and listen. Another thing that I'm doing for my 5th grader is she is assigned novels for the first time this year. And I have started putting her book, whatever book she's assigned. Like right now, she just finished reading The Midwife's Apprentice, and she has the physical book, but I put the book, the audio version, on a Yoto card so that she could follow along with her eyes and also listen to the audio. And that was kind of her choice if she wanted to or not. I would say she listened to probably 75% of the book on audio while following along. So I think that's really helpful, especially as kids are learning to read, expanding the vocabulary. It's good, if they're exposed to a word but they don't know how to pronounce it, it's really cool to be able to look at it and also hear it read. So I feel like that is really helpful. Another way that we are using our Yoto in our homeschool is we are currently reading through the Story of the Orchestra. And in this book, after you read each section, it tells you to play a track from their CD. And I just went ahead and put this on a Yoto card. And you can see this is one of the times where I did not make a fancy sticker. I just used my label maker, and I've seen a lot of people just put masking tape and then write with Sharpie what it is. I've also seen people print out the picture in the right size, but then just cover it in like packing tape. So there's a lot of different ways that you can label these make your own cards, but they're just such a great resource in your homeschool. So we'll read the book, the section of the Story of the Orchestra book during morning time, and then we'll just sit and I'll play this on our Yoto player, and some of my girls will dance around. My son and I will just sit and listen and enjoy the music. The main user of the Yoto is my preschooler. It's not what I expected. I thought it would be my older kids listening to the novels that I bought on audio, but it's my preschooler. My preschooler uses it more than anyone. And what's funny is her favorite cards are like mostly not even books. These are like some of her favorite cards. She listens to music, these two, all the time, like daily, multiple times a day, especially this one. There's a song called Pizza on here that she will play on repeat. And she just carries it around. I love this little holder because she can easily carry it around. She also enjoys this alphabet sounds one. There was like a free section of homeschool stuff, and there was a whole bunch of like audiobooks and this alphabet songs on CD. And I ended up buying an external CD drive or disk drive for my computer just so I could upload all of the free CDs that I got and put them on Yoto cards. So I have this alphabet sounds one for her. She also really likes my first 100 words. So she likes that one as well. And then a couple others that I don't have because they're floating around the house. I also downloaded a Bluey listen along, which you can get for free, and put that on a Yoto card, and she really likes that one. But mostly it's music. She loves listening to music on the Yoto. It's like carrying around her own little boombox. So that's been really cute, but not what I expected when I bought the Yoto player. So that is how we use it in our homeschool. We do our history read aloud. Sometimes we play music while we're doing school, musical multiplication, and then listening, reading along for novel studies for my 5th grader. Those are the primary ways. And then my preschooler kind of just listens to it whenever she feels like it. Let's talk about the pros and cons of the Yoto player. I guess I'm going to start with the cons and then I'm going to end on a good note. That's what I'm going to do. So I would say, one of the biggest cons is just that it's expensive. It adds up. You have to pay initially for the player. We just have one. I know some families, they get really, really into their Yoto players and they have the Yoto minis and one for each kid. And, that can add up. And I think that if you are following creators on the internet or in any Yoto Facebook groups, there is going to be some influence there or some it may make you feel like, well, I guess I need to buy one for each of my kids, or wow, I really need to own 100 Yoto cards and I need to buy this new Yoto card. This came out. I need to buy all of the Harry Potter. And so I would say that just the price can be a con, and the drive to like constantly be purchasing more, right? If you want to listen to new cards, you either got to make your own or you need to purchase it. And so that can be a con because they're not cheap. They're definitely not free. They're between $5 and I'd say $15 per book, sometimes 20. I think the Harry Potter books might be 20 each. So I would say that that's a con. That's probably the biggest con is the price. I purchased I got into it, right? I purchased my Yoto Player over the summer and purchased a couple of sets of novels, and expecting my older kids who love to be read aloud to, who really love reading and who have listened to some audiobooks on their tablets via Audible, I just thought automatically that they would be like fighting over the Yoto. And there is a little bit of that, but they really have not gotten into listening to longer novels on it yet. Maybe that'll come in the future. I'm not really sure what the future holds, but right now it's more like music, shorter stories, and then the ways that I implement it. So anyway, all that to say, it can be expensive. And if it's not in your budget, that's okay. This is not something that you have to have for your homeschool. However, if it's something that you have the budget for and you want to add it in, just go into it knowing that maybe you just need to buy 2 or 3 cards to start and kind of feel out, what do my kids like to listen to? Do they want to listen to podcasts? Do they want to listen to short stories? Do they want to listen to longer stories over the breakfast table? Do they want to listen to music? My kids are really into the music and the podcasts, and then I implement other things. So I would just go into it purchasing less. Like if I could talk to myself back last summer, I would have been like, come on, Aileen, you do not need to buy all those Yoto cards. So that's the first con. I would say that the other con is this does not get very loud. And I think I understand why they did it that way, just because it is a child's device. They want to protect their ears probably, and also want to protect the parents' nerves of it getting turned up really loud, because my preschooler definitely turns it up all the way to the top. The reason why I say that it's a con is just because there are 5 of us. I have 4 children and then me, and where we do morning time in our front room, it's a rather large room. And so if my preschooler is making noise, it can be difficult to hear unless we're all really like close listening around the table. And even then, when we're at the dinner table listening to Story of the World, I turn the volume all the way up. So I would say that's the only other con is I wish it got louder, because we have a Bluetooth speaker and technically I could play Story of the World on there. It's just then I have to connect to my phone, and then I have to pull up the audio files in my files on my phone, and it's more like cumbersome. This is much easier. It's like smooth. You stick the card in and boom, go. But the Bluetooth speaker gets louder. So that's my other con. Now let's talk about pros. This thing is durable. Yes, I have a case for it. I do recommend a case, especially if you have a little kid. Like, the cases make it so easy for them to carry around one-handed. It's super durable. It's very user-friendly. Easy for a little child to control, but then, easy for me too, which I appreciate. I love, love, love the make your own cards. This is such a cool thing because there are so many options. You can put your own music. Like if you have CDs, you can put your own music on here. You can record a grandparent reading a story aloud and put it on a make your own card. You can, use it for memorization. We use it for multiplication memorization, but you can use it for poetry memorization, scripture memorization, whatever you want. You can use it for that, right? I love that it's another option for audiobooks that is not a tablet, because my kids all have Kindle Fire, like Amazon Kids Kindle Fire tablets, but we typically don't allow tablet time during the school day. And I feel like you open your tablet to read a book, like an ebook, or listen to an audiobook, and then like we are as adults, right? We open our phone and maybe we're going to do something and we get distracted because they're designed to distract you and suck you in and make you want to look at it. And so listening to an audiobook on your tablet, maybe they're going to get tempted to do other things. Whereas this whatever they play on here, I don't care. Like, I've given them the options and they can listen to what they want. And I really, really love that. I love that it has the other options for stories, bedtime stories, things like that. The other pro, aside from the make your own cards, and this kind of goes with the make your own cards, is that you can link podcasts to a make your own card. I've even heard of adults having their own Yoto, and they have their podcasts on there. So I don't have one in front of me, but you just have to find the like website feed for your favorite podcast. It can literally be any podcast. And there's an option in the make your own to link a podcast. And then you don't even have to link it to a make your own podcast. You could control it from your phone, and there's an app on your phone, and you tell the app to play the podcast on the device. I love that. That's a huge pro for us. The next pro I want to talk about is the app. The app is super helpful because I can play whatever cards, every card that I purchase or create a playlist for a make your own card is in the app. So I can play it directly from my phone without the Yoto Player. So if we want to listen to The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe in the car, I can play it on my phone and it'll connect via Bluetooth to my car and play. We don't actually have to have the Yoto with us. I love that. The app also has things like sleep timers. So I mentioned that my kids really love the Circle Round podcast, and I put it on a Yoto card for them. But it'll just play and play and play and play. And so I can set like a 15-minute or 30-minute or even an hour sleep timer, and they can go to sleep listening to it, and I can set it to turn off. And I think that's a really great feature. In the app, you can also turn the volume down. So I mentioned that I suspect that they made it so the speaker doesn't get too loud to protect parents' nerves and children's little ears. And, there are times when my preschooler really pushes the boundaries and I say, please turn it down. And she doesn't turn it down. And we're kind of having this back and forth, and I'll just get on my phone and turn it down. I'll do it real subtly, so maybe she doesn't notice. Sometimes she notices, but I can control that from my phone. And I think that's a really, really great feature. Another thing with the app is if you are part of their membership, they have like this monthly membership, which I'm not going to speak either way to that. We were a part of it and we're not now. That's kind of up to you. It's one of those things that, like I mentioned, like the consumerism, there's different levels. And so one of the levels is you just have access to extra content. And then there's other levels where you can get points to purchase cards every month. So if you want to do that, the lowest level allows you access to their extra content, which you don't have to put on a card. You can access it from your app on your phone and play it on the Yoto. So I think that's really cool. There's a lot of extra stuff that you can play. They do also have like a little like daily news type show and a radio show if you just like push the buttons on the Yoto, which we haven't really done. So I can't really speak to that, but that is another, you can just like push it and it'll play something. And then I just would say that it's just really family friendly. It's a really family friendly device that is not a screen, but it's still like technology. And I think that that's really kind of fun and special. And we have definitely enjoyed it so far. If you have any questions for me about the Yoto or how to make your own cards or anything else, let me know below. I'll see you next time.